How are you guys doing? I know we're doing good. Rob's a little extra special today, but that's a different
That's
story.
true.
Oh my God, do we got something phenomenal?
Yeah.
Someone phenomenal, a phenomenal person. If you don't know Tish Diaz, folks, you should. How are you?
I'm fine. We had a day off yesterday, so I'm feeling very rested and ready to go play the first show of the week tonight. So
Nice.
Yeah, so you're in New York on Broadway, and Monday night is usually they call it black, right? You're just
yeah.
out. Like
Well, I'm actually on the tour. I'm actually yeah. I'm on I'm on the Tina musical that's on tour. So I'm in
nice.
Boston. I'm in Boston right now.
Oh, Boston. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were in New York. My fault.
Well, we were rehearsing there for 5 weeks, and
Yeah.
then we went to Providence for 3 weeks for tech and previews, and then did an opening there, and then we were in. This is our second week in Boston. We were in Boston. We hit Boston last week, and this is week 2, and then we head to Washington D.C. next week for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Now the Tina tour, is that in regards to Tina Turner by any chance?
Yes. It's
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's a big new, yeah.
I heard about it and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Sometimes it's 2 and 3 together for me, but that's a different story.
That must be such a fun one to be a part of, because it's got to have a lot of high energy to it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's this cast is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Every single person in this cast is at such a high level of talent.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
My favorite word's phenomenal, if you couldn't tell. But so with yourself being in the music industry since USC, and you've been able to work with, wow, so many phenomenal musicians. I actually had to put it down because I couldn't remember it. I have a hard time remembering my name. Let's see, Pat Boone, Debby Boone, Robert Goulet, Glen Campbell, Andy Williams, you were on Regis and Kathy Lee, and my favorite on your list, Meat Loaf.
Yeah, that was a great situation. I love that. I actually I filled in for his regular pianist who needed some time off, and then filled in since then. And actually, when I came back, before I came out to do this gig, I did a couple of dates with their Meat Loaf tribute that they do, the Bats. At the time, it was called a celebration of Meat Loaf, and now it's just Meat Loaf Celebration. And it's Caleb Johnson, who was American Idol winner season, I want to say season 13, I think. He's fronting the band, and Meat Loaf's original, his guitar, band leader guitar, his drummer, and everybody in the band I guess they call them the Meat Loaf alumni. So I was a Meat Loaf Vegas alumni. Yeah. But yeah, that is amazing. That's a pretty great gig for a pianist. It's just that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Yeah,
those tunes are fantastic. Yeah.
Well, and you've done live performances, and obviously that, but you're doing live performances all the time. But you do, music tours as the singers and stuff. But then you do a lot of the musical theaters stuff, and so from Mamma Mia and The Lion King and some of these amazing things and iconic stories.
Annie.
Yeah. What do you really love being in the theater as opposed to maybe on stage out in a crowd, or?
Well, before I sat in those big pits, I was mainly, on stage, with Andy Williams, the band was on stage with him. We were part of the show. I had played in a lot of bands, corporate bands, and I played with a really fantastic country band named Wild Rose in Nashville. So I was more sitting in a pit with, just in a pit was kind of new to me when I did Mamma Mia. But I loved ABBA, so that was a fun gig too.
This guy, huge ABBA fan.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I remember when the contractor called me for that gig, I was new back in San Francisco, and he was trying to get me in. And he called and said, I really want to get you in on the ground floor of the show. It was the pre-Broadway, when they were putting it up before it went to Broadway. And he said, I want to get you on the ground floor. He said, it's that Mamma Mia. I said, oh, the ABBA musical. And he said, yeah. And I said, I love ABBA. And he was quiet. And I said, hello? He said, You're the first person I've called that said that. I said, oh,
That's
I got ABBA Gold. I've got like 4 CDs of ABBA.
Oh, you know what? And then I'm going to give you another one that I saw a picture of you with. It's right to my favorite is you had a picture with Barry Gibb. And
Oh,
I'm
he came to see Jersey
huge,
Boys one night.
huge fan of the Bee Gees. So that
Oh,
was
I
like,
love the
oh,
Bee Gees too. Yeah, he came to
yeah.
see Jersey Boys in Las Vegas and came down to the green room, and it was between shows, so we took a picture. Some of us took a picture with him, and I think he was thinking about doing a Bee Gees bio musical. This was
That would be really good.
that would
Oh
be
my goodness.
that would be phenomenal. That would be fun to go see.
There's a Neil Diamond one that's going to be starting in Broadway in November, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I love Neil Diamond, so I have to try to get to see that.
Right?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh.
And
So when do you start on that? When do you?
the horn players we're playing with here in Boston were on that when it was down here. They were doing their pre-Broadway stuff down here, and they
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is great.
It's called
Now-
Beautiful Noise.
What is it called?
A Beautiful Noise after his
A Beautiful
song.
Noise. All right, cool. So I want to ask, I mean, you've worked with so many phenomenal artists, and everybody takes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. What would you say has been the most
Influential.
Thank you, that too. Thing that you've been able to pull.
Oh, when I worked for Andy Williams, he had an amazing ear. And he knew what he wanted to hear, even if sometimes he couldn't verbalize it. But he knew he wanted to hear something a certain way, and you just have to keep going till you got it.
Interesting.
And, but he was very old. He was from the old school, so his whole demeanor was different than, say, like a rock guy like Meat Loaf. Different. But both were really demanding of themselves, and so you wanted to be that. You wanted to bring your best to the game as well. The girls I worked with in Nashville, I loved them. They were pros. They were total pros. And from them I sharpened up my Nashville number charts, because they write their music different there. They use a Nashville number system as opposed to how we write charts here. And so I remember they asked me, said, "Do you want us to put your tunes in regular chords?" I said, no. When in Rome, I said, I want to do what you do. I want to bring it up to what you guys do. I don't want to be different. I want to learn. So every gig I've gotten something from. Lion King was probably one of the hard. I just started doing musicals at that level, and that one was really hard. And I learned a lot. Like that one really. Taught me how to don't be afraid to ask for information that maybe you weren't given to do the gig. Like, is there a conductor video I could watch at home while I practice the book? And isn't there supposed to be a dummy rig set up so I can come in and play along with the show in real time before I do my first show?
Interesting.
So, because I remember the first time I was driving over the Golden Gate Bridge to play, and I had this big knot in my stomach, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know the show. I know the music, but I don't know the show.
Oh, wow.
And just getting there, just feeling like, I was in one of those video games and I just couldn't stop the car. I was like, so,
that's actually interesting. I never would have thought that you would have to know how the conductor is and how they conduct the show to be able to just jump in and go from there on the musical aspect, and not the other way around. I always thought the conductor had to know everything about everything with all the musicians.
They do.
But that amazes me. I would never have thought of that in the opposite way.
Yeah, because when you sub, you want to come in and make it feel like there's no sub there.
Right.
So a lot of times you get a chance to come in and audit. You'll sit next to the person you're auditing. We were at Jersey Boys. We had a whole library set up, and I was kind of the one in charge of it. We had packets for every instrument. We had their music there. I had all the guys in the band make me recordings of their mix, and I burnt CDs. Back when people burned CDs, I burnt CDs of everyone had a mix. We had a video because the band had to do choreography at the end on stage with the cast. So we had a video of that. And I did it in 3 different tempos so they could start out slow and then a little faster and then the show tempo. And I would meet with my subs. I said, if you want me to come in and work with you, let me know. I'll come in an hour early. I mean, we really set them up for success because we all know what it's like to not be set up for success and get in there and be like,
That's amazing, actually.
So,
Have you thought about doing that like in a master class or anything like that?
well, I think that's kind of the standard procedure for a show.
Okay. Well, I'm just talking about
But-
for other shows that come up now. Maybe that's something that's just should be there and has to be there all the time, but maybe it's something that to help folks along that are novices and all that kind of good stuff.
That's true because I know. I mean, I did not know. I remember when finally somebody told me there. Oh, there's a conducting video that you can borrow of both conductors. You can go home and practice with them. I went, that would have made my life so much easier. Had I known that from day one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but what she was really like talking about is that knowing to ask,
True.
and not in just
Knowing
in
to
her
ask,
life, but
right.
that's in a lot of people's
Right.
lives.
yeah,
Is knowing to ask, right?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's
I
a
didn't
big
know.
point.
So
Yeah.
now I'm not afraid to politely ask. Is there some information that I could use that would help me?
Yeah.
And
No, that's
Meat Loaf
great.
guys Meat Loaf guys are great. I was in Mexico when they called me to do those gigs in January and February, and I said, "Could you just send me a set list so I can just start familiarizing myself?" I didn't have a keyboard with me, but I had access to a piano. But I said, "Could you just send me the set list so I can get familiar with the tunes?" And he sent me the set list. He sent me the click tracks, everything. So then I had to learn how to run that little My Monitor app on my phone. I had too much stuff in there, and I'm like, where's the click? Where's the click? And that was a learning curve there, but it's a cool little app. We use those on those gigs. We were able to control our own mix.
I got you.
So when you're just hanging out, because you have such a love of music, and you were saying that you played by ear. Actually, let's go right into that. Where you started out, your parents noticed that you had a love of music and you could play by ear at what age?
I was 3, and I got this little xylophone for Christmas, and I would hear tunes on the radio or the TV, and I would play them. But I only had an octave, so if a note was high, I'd hit the wood at that end. If a note was low and I didn't have it, I'd hit the wood at that end. And it's just this little xylophone
Wow.
about this big. So when we moved, my dad got transferred to California, and one of the first things they did was buy a piano, and the whole family took lessons. But they kind of bought it, knowing that it was going to be my thing. But this is really strange. My mom, we had my dad was on a business trip when I was born. I came a week early, and that was in the days when the men, just sat out in the waiting room and paced, So his boss waited at the hospital in his place, and then the woman who drove my mom home, she kept looking at my fingers. She kept saying, "Look at her fingers. She's going to be a pianist." And it's not like they're long or anything. I don't really have long, big hands or extra long fingers. But she's going to look at her hands. She's going to be a pianist. She's going to be a pianist. And then I had a babysitter who was a church pianist, and she would sit me in her lap while she was practicing. So who knows if that had some kind of influence? I don't remember that. Of course, I was too little, but you just never know.
So on your downtime, like, do you still like to get in front of a piano, or do you just like to get away from it after you've been working?
Oh no, I like well when you're playing a show, you don't want to get stale.
Yeah.
And so I like to work on other things too, and it inspires me with the show too. And this show was a tough one. I wanted to have a keyboard with me on the road because it's a pretty demanding piano book. So I want to make sure I keep my hands in shape. And I'm also playing a lot of rehearsals for the understudies and the swings. And so the rehearsal book is big. It's a lot. So it'll keep me in shape, and then it's nice to have that break to do your music to feed your soul. And I know when I do that, I have the best of both worlds. I think when I can do that.
What do you like to play just when you're messing around, having a little bit of fun?
Well, I'm transcribing some jazz piano solos right now. I go back and forth. I'll throw myself into jazz for a while, and then something will come and distract me, and I'll end up doing that. But and I go, oh, I gotta get back to my jazz. So I'm trying to keep a balance with that, and I'm also trying to write some songs. I'm not a lyricist, but I like to write music, so I'm trying to find people to collaborate with, and
Nice.
and trying to up my Logic knowledge, getting pretty more fluent with Logic software.
Have you thought about doing a play or composing a play, I should say, and seeing to get it out there?
I haven't thought about that yet, but I do have some little projects that I want to start to really see if I can make happen. They're like in outline form right now. One of them is I have a cousin who is a celebrated author, and she's written. I call her the Latino Judy Blume, because she
Okay.
writes books like that geared towards that the Latino population.
Okay.
Because she goes, these kids that are kids of migrant workers aren't going to relate to a girl in a New York apartment who's having these teenage issues. So she kind of the same issues, but she gears it towards that demographic. But she also wrote some poems that are really at the time she wrote them, they were considered very they're like empowering women. They're poems in Spanish, and they're translated to English too. But they're empowering women and indigenous women. And
Nice.
so I talked to a friend of mine from college who's a opera singer, and we want to get a composer to put them in a classical setting for piano and voice. I just haven't decided if I want to do a whole song cycle or just select one. So I got to get back to where we're reading through them and seeing which ones would be possible to do. And we're looking for a composer. So that's
Okay.
one. And then another thing I've been working on is because I'm trying to get fluent in Spanish. Another friend of mine from college has a music program in outside of Tijuana. He's got an orchestra program,
Oh,
and the
wow.
least likely place you would find kids studying classical music. So he's like Mr. Holland on steroids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And so I went down and played with the kids. They didn't have a keyboard, so thanks to the generosity of a lot of my friends, I raised money to get them and Roland Keyboards, Roland Corporation helped me get this real nice digital piano for them. And then I went down and they'd never played with an accompanist before, so we have a lot of videos that I need to keep posting because we kids playing solos out of the Suzuki Method books, and I'm accompanying them. They'd never played with a pianist before.
Oh, wow.
But they're the sweetest kids. He's got beginning orchestra and an intermediate, and then they get into the advanced orchestra,
Mhm.
and just all ages. He's got little kids, and then teenagers, and then some that are they're out of high school, but they still want to play in the orchestra because they're going to the junior college nearby. But it's amazing because this is in the in the outskirts of Tijuana, so it's very humble,
Mhm.
and you would not believe that when you drive through this humble neighborhood that there are kids in there practicing Bach and Vivaldi. It's pretty amazing.
Man,
And
That's
he even
cool.
there's a foundation they work through. Linda Ronstadt is one of the supporters of the program, and she's helped
that's
them.
amazing.
Yeah, she's helped them get some instruments, and they have some of the string players from the Pittsburgh Symphony, because they have to change their strings every month. They're required to. And the strings are still good. They just have to change them every month. So they send their strings down to the kids. Some of the kids are taking violin lessons from some of these Pittsburgh string players. People are donating to the foundation, and that pays the teacher's fee. And they're doing Zoom lessons from Pittsburgh to Mexico. So it's a
That's
great.
pretty cool.
Yeah, we have another friend from college who wrote a piece. He works for the Metropolitan Opera. He wrote a piece for me to play with them. And then another guy from our alumni association is trying to do a documentary. So we're trying to get that going. It's tricky because I've never tried to make anything like that happen before. So I'm just throwing it out there.
This whole thing you're talking about, and also the fact that you're doing Tina Turner's music and you've done ABBA's and stuff like that. And it made me think of like Metallica with the symphony.
Yes.
Have you had any thoughts of music that you wouldn't think connect that you'd like to connect with, like some artist and kind of
Intermesh.
and intermesh what you do?
I started listening to a lot of. I really like a lot of the songs, the artists that come out of the UK. I'm starting to listen to them more, and some good songwriters, come out of there.
Are you thinking more younger or older? Like, say, going older, you'd go The Who, you'd go Ozzy. I'm thinking rock, of course, because that's me.
Well, we haven't seen like a rap
Yeah.
mix yet either. So I was thinking that'd be kind of an interesting to see if somebody could pull something like that off.
Oh yeah, like rap and symphony.
Well, Jay-Z and symphony, or whatever.
That'd
Snoop
be kinda
Dogg.
interesting.
Snoop would be a brilliant one to
Ice
approach,
Cube. Oh God, yeah.
right? Snoop would probably be very interested in something that would be interesting like that. So it's just in your background with doing like Tina Turner's music and thinking about how to connect different genres of music together is such a neat thing these days.
I was thinking about too, like I have a cousin who's a Tejano music star, and I was really listening to a lot of Latin. I kind of really I lean towards like the Latin grooves and beats and stuff, and I thought, how could I blend that with something, and make it
Gloria Stefan and
J-Lo,
Shakira.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be
Oh, I
interesting.
love Shakira.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be amazing to be. I got one last question. Who would be your ultimate musician, artist to work with?
And you're talking about all time?
All time.
It could be
All time.
gone.
Yep.
Okay.
All time.
Going back to like Beethoven.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Never know.
Time. I would have to say a Paul McCartney or a Stevie Wonder,
Yeah.
Those are two.
And I know they're older, but
No.
or Bruno Mars, someone like that.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. You gave us 3. I asked for 1
Yeah.
bonus.
Awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a
I
female.
like it.
I'm trying to think of any female artists. There's some real good female artists out there too.
Oh yeah.
Amy Winehouse.
This has been great. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
And,
Are you guys in the Bay Area? Is that where you are?
We're in Sacramento,
now.
Sacramento?
Yeah.
Yeah, we said it in stereo.
Yes, we did. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
And by the way, this is not my recording studio behind me. It's a picture of Abbey Road that I downloaded.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
So just in case you were thinking I was in my big studio.
Hey, I was hoping. You never know. Well,
have a great tomorrow and a better today.
Great, thanks. And come see the Tina Turner show when we're in the Bay Area next summer.
When are you guys coming out?
Yeah,
we absolutely want to do that.
Yeah,
next summer. We're at the Golden Gate Theater for
absolutely.
We're there.
It's a great show. I have to. I mean, I not just saying this. It's a great show.
God, yeah. All you got to do is say Tina Turner, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah. The energy of that show's got to be incredible.
It's pretty insane. And the songs are all great. So it's just one great song.
Oh God, yeah. Summer 2023, folks. Tina Turner, San Francisco Bay Area. Will you be in Sacramento too?
That's not on the schedule yet. That could be for the following year.
Yeah.
Definitely San Francisco and San Jose are on the schedule.
All right. I love it.
And
so we get 2 opportunities. Cool.
And Los Angeles.
All right, everybody.
All right.
From Rob, Tish, and Chris.
What up?
What up? Have a great day and better tomorrow from What Up Official. Bye, guys.
Bye.